ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream, another preview show live stream. It's been a busy day today. I've had a lot of stuff on with university and all the rest of it. So the traditional style of video, we never got time to record, to edit, all the rest of it. So we're here in live stream form, which is always fun anyway, especially when it comes to your sort of midweek games, when you're all just kind of trying to chill and you've all finished your hard day at work and you just maybe want a wee something to watch at night. So we'll go live tonight. We'll have a wee chat about Celtic and talk about everything that we need to in regards to tomorrow's game. And I'll get all you guys involved. Nice to see a lot of you piling in the chat. Alistair, Sam, Joshua, Elijah, John, Peter. Nice to see you. Ian, a regular in the chat as well. Nice to see a lot of you lads. A sad day, as Mark has just brought up. Neil Lennon sacked. Yes, in case you haven't heard the news, Neil Lennon has been sacked from Omonia Nicosia, in Cyprus. He's gone after two really decent games against Manchester United. You know, two results where he only lost by the one goal, but he's gone. Who knows? We might talk a bit about it later on in the stream. But we're here to talk about Celtic. We're not here to talk about Neil Lennon. That if you want to hear me talk about Neil Lennon, feel free to go and check out the channel from a couple of years ago. Go back to 2020 and 2021, and you can watch me have plenty of meltdown over Neil Lennon. Celtic head to Fir Park tomorrow night to take on Motherwell in the next round of the not for long Premier Sports Cup. Yes, the Premier Sports Cup will be going under a name change soon. It is getting renamed. The Premier Sports will be gone. It's no longer going to be a thing after November the 1st. It's getting renamed to, I can't even remember it now. Slipped my head. But it's gone. It's getting scrapped. It's been bought over by a different company. So it's going to become the whatever cup. It's still the League Cup, of course, but no longer going to be the Premier Sports League Cup. It'll be the blah blah League Cup. So there you go. But it is for now still. By the way, big donation. Thank you very much to Mike. 14 Canadian dollars. Cheers for the quality content, Specky. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. But aye, the Premier Sports Cup tomorrow night, heading to Motherwell. And a tough game because Motherwell, you know, hammer throws, as we all know. They always like to make it a difficult game. And right at a time for Celtic where we don't have a lot of great luck with injuries, do we? A lot of players dropping like flies when it comes to the old fitness department. Wee niggles here and there. We're dropping off like flies at times, and obviously we're missing still Callum McGregor, for example, who's still out through injury. Still, you know, a couple of updates needed on the likes of Carl Starfelt. Don't know if we had an update on David Turnbull today, but you know, a few people still out on the sidelines with a couple of injuries here and there, which isn't the greatest. Hopefully Motherwell don't add to that tomorrow, but that's the one, Mark. Thank you very much. The Viaplay Cup, it will now be renamed after the 1st of November. So this is technically the last ever game. My glasses are absolutely mad. This is the problem about being live. It's been annoying me the whole stream. I have to clean it. My glasses are manky. The Viaplay Cup, that's what it's going to be called. So, yeah. That was me and Greg's. That was. Yes, Robbie. I was in Greg's. That was me. You did see me in Greg's. Paisley. Yeah, that was me. Sadly, Paisley. So, hopefully Motherwell don't add to that tomorrow. But a tough game. We'll look at the opposition very briefly for a moment. Their form, as of late, hasn't been fantastic. In the last 6 games, they have lost 4, drawn 1, and only won 1. In their last 6 games. Of course, Rangers took on Motherwell at the weekend. At Fir Park as well, and a game that was, if you watched it, pretty poor. It wasn't the greatest of standards. Rangers kind of came alive a little bit in the second half and managed to put it to bed, but in general, Motherwell, they're not a side who I watch with great interest at this moment in time. I think they're a little bit lacklustre. And it's been a weird season, of course, for Motherwell. They had that disappointment in Europe very early on, and then, of course, sacked Graham Alexander and ended up bringing in Stevie Hamill, gave him the job permanently. I feel like it's been a real tough season for them to find a grip of themselves. And tomorrow, despite whatever team may play on the park tomorrow night, I feel like it's a game that Celtic must be winning. Ian, thank you very much for the £5 donation. We'll come on to my team selection and team news in a moment. 179 from Celtic Joe. James Forrest redemption season, £1.79. Thank you. Let's talk about that. We'll get into your questions to kind of dictate the direction of this in a moment. But let's talk about the big talking points. James Forrest being one of them has to start the game for me tomorrow. I just feel like you can't drop somebody on a hat trick, and they're still manky. They're actually mankier. How's that happen? You can't drop someone who's on a hat trick. You can say whatever you like about James Forrest, and I've obviously been very, very vocal on my opinion with James Forrest over the past few years, and especially over the past couple of years where I've been thinking, he's done or whatever. But when somebody comes out and scores a hat trick and they put a performance like that, and you can't drop them, and he's got to try and build on that, and we've got to give him the opportunity. We've got to be fair with that. We've got to give him the opportunity to build on that hat trick. And I think tomorrow night is the perfect opportunity. This is the thing. If you look at last week and you look at next week, Forrest would never have started, despite a hat trick or not, because it would have been Champions League, and I just don't think he would have started James Forrest. This has felt at the perfect time for him to try and get a couple of back-to-back games, to try and do something again to kind of put a case in for further starts. I don't think he would have been handed that big an opportunity with the Champions League. I know I said get a hat-trick, you can't be dropped or whatever, but it's a different story when it comes to Champions League, isn't it? And especially the importance of these Champions League games at the minute. I don't think he would have started. This has felt at the perfect time for him. So it's a massive opportunity for James Forrest. And I've spoke so much since I've done this channel for the last 5 or 6 years about the inconsistencies in James Forrest's game, which have cost him and which have held him back, and why it's maybe held me back from being such a big fan of his. Tomorrow is the kind of game that I really want him to kind of show that again why I'm wrong, and try and take that opportunity, because I feel like it'd be so very typical of him not to take that opportunity if you judge off a few of the recent years where he's came into form for a couple of games, blah blah blah. Tomorrow I really want him to take that, and I feel like he will be handed that big opportunity from the manager. Is it redemption season? Who knows? How long can it last for James Forrest? Is it just a one game flash in the pan moment for him? Will it run over a stretch of games? Is it a resurgence in his career? Who knows? We can only take it as it comes. And as I said in my video the other day, I think the best thing for us to do as Celtic fans is not to put too much expectation on him to perform and do that, because that's when people start getting on his back again. I think it's about being patient, taking that game at a time and seeing what he offers us. At the end of the day, Forrest doesn't perform, we're not short of options. We're not in a bad position. We've got people to come in and play on the right hand side. We've got people to come in and play on both wings. So I don't think it's the end of the world. We're hoping that Jota is back soon, for example. Once again, even if he was back and fit, available for tomorrow, I don't think he will start tomorrow or be involved tomorrow. I think we'll give him a further rest till Tynecastle or Shakhtar next week. But it's not the end of the world if Forrest doesn't perform. As Leah Labada said in the newspapers to the media the other day, you've got a side where if Jamesy doesn't score, Dyson's scoring. If he's not scoring, Liel's scoring. If he's not scoring, Kyogo's scoring. Everybody's a goal scorer in that team, and that's the good thing right now with the depth that we have. We have people that will come in and do the job when others might not be. So, we're in a good position. It'll be good to see if Forrest does play tomorrow. And obviously, one thing I've not touched on in this is the fact that tomorrow's game is the last step before a potential trip to Hampden. Massive opportunity here for Celtic to go one step closer to retaining their League Cup trophy. And we need to take that. We have to realise that. And Ange will put out a team tomorrow that will be... Let's get on to Ian's comment, and then we'll get into your guys' questions. And that we'll put out a kind of a team that is just as good as what would play at a weekend or a league game or a Champions League game. There's not going to be any sort of big rotation, I don't imagine. Not any significant changes to the side that make you go, oh yes, it's a cup game. Doesn't exist with Celtic. Doesn't exist with Ange Postecoglou. And we want to get back to Hampden Park. Last time we were at Hampden, we obviously lost. It's time to get back there and back to winning ways there. To tell you that, very, very simply. So what do I think the team will be tomorrow then? I think that we're going to see probably a similar side to what took on Hibs at the weekend. I think it's another big opportunity for the likes of Ralston and Bernaby to play, because we can obviously bring Juranovic and Taylor maybe back in for the game against Hearts in preparation for Shakhtar, because they are preferred options, let's be blunt. I mean, you might have opinions on Ralston and Bernabei being better than the other two or whatnot. It doesn't matter who you prefer, there is preferred options at the club quite clearly, and that's Juranovic and Taylor. So I think they might come back at the weekend. So I feel like it's maybe another big chance for the two fullbacks who started at the weekend. I'm going to say Hart, Ralston and Bernabei for tomorrow's game. And then I think Jens and Carter Vickers once again will be the centre halves. I think that those two, are kind of building a good partnership at the moment. They're physical players that will be able to handle Motherwell throwing their elbows and kicking into them. And I don't see why we'd make any other change anyway. Starfelt isn't exactly back yet. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Now the midfield three is an interesting one. At the weekend we obviously got, it was Moy O'Reilly and... Was it Moy O'Reilly and Hatate at the weekend? It's just slipping my head now off the top of my head. Was that the midfield three? I think it was. But tomorrow, who will it be? Could James McCarthy be awarded a long-awaited start? I don't think so. I think it's got to be Moy O'Reilly and Hatate again. I think those will be the three that start in the midfield tomorrow. It's another big opportunity for Moy, who, just like we said with James Forrest, had a brilliant game at the weekend, and you'd feel kind of hard done by to drop him. 2 assists, probably his best performance yet in a Celtic shirt. It looked silky smooth, and a lot of the kind of forward play that he had going on in the game. Still, that slower side to his game, but I think it works. I think it comes in and does well. He kind of brings his own sort of balance to the game with his style. And then front three, I want to see Haksabanovic start again. Forrest, will Haksabanovic play? Will he come on in the second half? I want him to play. He deserves to play. He was brilliant at the weekend. Thank you for the donation, by the way. £1 from Al Neelam. Was that 28? Oh no, wait, that's not 28. That's 15. Oh, sorry, no, it's not 15. It's 18. What a clown, man. Sorry, he's mush. It's been a long day. I have a feeling Maeda's going to start over... Do you know what? I'm going to go with the exact same team that started against Hibs. There you go. Haksabanovic, Forrest and Giacomakis. There's my team. The exact same 11 that started against Hibs at the weekend. I think it's going to stay like that. Because I feel like Ange is going to make the changes for the game against Hearts at Tynecastle, which you could argue is maybe a tougher game. And then obviously that sets you up going into Europe as well. So I'm going to predict the same team that played against Hibs. I feel like after winning 6-1, it's hard to make a lot of changes. So I think it's going to be that. Looking for big performances again from the likes of Moy and Forrest. Would love to see Haksabanovic getting in amongst the goals. I'm dying for him to score his first Celtic goal. But I'm going to go with that as my team score prediction. I think Celtic should go through to Hampden, hopefully. So there's no guarantees in this sport. There's no guarantees when it comes to Celtic either. So, yeah. And I think that, Peter raises a point about Kyogo playing on smaller pitches and maybe getting bullied a bit. I think that Motherwell is the kind of team who just like to absolutely kick lumps out of a guy like Kyogo. So I think Giacomakis is probably more suited than that. And I don't like to usually go down the route of, the typical route of a smaller player gets battered off thugs. Like, they are good enough players to get round that. They use their skill. They use their ability. It's easy to see that. They're good enough players to play against them. But you play with the likes of Motherwell and they're a clothesline from hell away from killing them. So I would like to just see Giacomakis play anyway. Plus, Giacomakis played well at the weekend too. He got a brace. Hard to drop him too. So there you go. Right, there's my preview. Let's get through your questions and get what you guys want to say off your chest. Let's see. GG is the man for these hatchet men, says Jordan Easton. Wouldn't be surprised if Benjamin Siegrist starts tomorrow, says Anthony Inglis. I don't see it. I wouldn't... Well, he could. Did he start in the last round? I'm going to go quickly check. I think he actually did now that I think about it, didn't he? Celtic fixtures. Did he start in the last round? I don't know why. I just see Hart playing. But I'm going to go back and check the last League Cup game. And probably people are screaming at me in the comments already, like, he did play, didn't he play? Like, they're probably telling me the answer to the question I'm trying to look up. When did we fucking play it? When was the last Cup game? Why can I not find it? Scottish League Cup, Ross County, 4-1, there we go. Lineups. Oh, Siegrist did play. Ah, he did start the last one. See, everybody's shouting. Ah, he did fucking start. Could there be a start for Siegrist then? You know, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Maybe there will be. Maybe there will be. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised, Anthony. At first I was going to say I don't see it because it just feels like we're getting to the business end of the cup now, doesn't it? But, you know, there's a potential chance there for him. I mean, he's came here to get some minutes. So you think, where else are they going to be? They have to be in these games. Maybe, aye. Maybe we'll see Siegrist. Good point from Anthony. Well done. Let's keep going through your questions. And so many people are, it did start, it did, yes. I think we should get Rangers in the semi or wait until the final. I do not care. We'll have to take them on at some point, probably. I don't care. Bring them on. I'm confident we'll beat them anyway, so I'll take them in any round. Preferably, probably the semi. But I'm not bothered. I'll take them in anything. I'll take them in the final as well if we have to. It would hurt to lose to them in the final, but we're a better side at this moment in time. They look rotten at the weekend as well again. Let's see, get your questions in. Let's get... Drop Rio, last 2 games, just not good enough, says Paul McBride. Wow, big claim about Rio Hatate. Once again, I think it's one of those ones with Rio Hatate, we know how good he can be, and then when he doesn't perform to the level that we see him in other games, we get very kind of impatient, don't we? Look, if the likes of Tumble is fit to come in and play, there's always a realistic conversation about him starting the game. But I think for now, with the options that we've got, with McGregor being out, and I don't think Abildgaard is going to get a start yet. I think it will be. I think Taty's going to start, to be quite honest. So yeah, I've got a very itchy boob, to say the least. Stephen Welsh and Maida for confidence. Good point. Start Welsh and Maida. Listen, Maida, I can get behind. He scored at the weekend. He's a player who needs goals, and I can understand maybe starting him. For me, not so much Welsh, and that's nothing against Welsh, and that's not me saying that Welsh doesn't deserve the chance for confidence. The reason I'd say no to Welsh is Carter Vickers has just got back from injury, and since getting back, I feel like him and Jens are getting a chance to develop a really decent looking partnership. I thought they looked really good against Leipzig despite the result. I thought they looked strong at the weekend. And I think they just looked generally quite comfortable together. Whereas I don't think Welsh and Jens had the same partnership. Welsh and Vickers we've not got to see very often. But I just think that Jens and Vickers have just started building something here. And I want them to be able to continue building that rather than bringing Welsh right back into the team and then we scrap what we're doing there. You know what I mean? So it's nothing about Welsh personally. It's just I feel like it's hard right now to justify bringing them in for me. So that's why I would go for the Jens and Vickers. I don't have a lot of confidence in Welsh. And right now, not a huge amount of confidence in Maida, but he scored at the weekend. That's good. And we'll see what happens. What do you think of Tumble so far from what we've seen this season? We've not seen a lot, have we? It feels like we've not seen a lot. I feel like he's not really been spoke about. He's not had a chance to do a lot. We know there's a player there, though. Our player of the year a couple of years ago. And we know he can do so much. He's in a very, very competitive midfield right now with Celtic. I think he's got another level to go up right enough. I think he can still offer us a hell of a lot more. But, you know, so far from this season, I'd find it hard to actually kind of pick out a word for him to describe him, in all honesty. I feel like he could go any side of the fence, to be honest. Let's see. No. I wouldn't, Shane. Not a chance. It's not good enough to play for Celtic. Even in a free, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Peter Monahan very brutally honest with his assessment on Welsh. Hate to say it, but I get the fear seeing Welsh on the team sheet. Wow. Did you see that Conor Hazard won Fans Player of the Year for Helsinki? Potential next goalie. You know, I was no word of a lie. We were on Xbox before I done this stream tonight. I was talking away and we were having a laugh about Barkas. And I was saying, you know, what happens if Barkas was to say go over to Holland and win like Keeper of the Year? Would there be a genuine conversation for him, you know, getting a chance in the Celtic team? And we all kind of rubbished that, said no, it's not going to happen. And I feel the same is going to happen with Conor Hazard. Sadly, despite how good a year he might have with Helsinki, I still don't think he's anywhere near getting an opportunity at Celtic, and I don't think he ever really will. It's only so long he can stay at the club getting loaned out time after time and such, and I just think that Hart's probably still got another year at least in him, and Siegrist is ahead of him in the order as well. I just don't see it happening for Hazard. But good on him, fair play to him winning that award. It gives him the motivation and encouragement to go on and do better as well. So, yeah. Would I buy Jens right now? Yes, I would. Right now I would. Until we have other options ahead of him as well, I think that is a kind of no-brainer for me. But obviously when the transfer window comes around, if we're scouting anybody or we talk to anybody, you know, that conversation could become very different. But I like him. I do like him, and I would make him permanent if possible. A lot of people agreeing, yeah, buy Jens, 100% buy Jens. He's excellent. Yeah, we need to keep Jens after the loan ends. Aye, Jens a no-brainer. Wow, a lot of people on the Jens hype wagon. I like that, because I like Jens as well. Right, anyway, I'm going to end it up there because I don't want this to go on too long for those who can't watch it live. We will be back on the channel tomorrow to review the game, talk about that. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of live preview tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure as always for you to join me and chat about the game and all the rest of it. So I hope you all have a nice night. I hope you all enjoy the game tomorrow, and I hope you join me for the post-match reaction too. But until then, have a lovely night. I'll see you next time. Cheerio.